Captain Ryan Hale lived alone inside the soft humming world of the research ship Solace 9. Outside his window, stars floated like quiet lamps across a deep blue-black sea. Days and nights did not feel different anymore. The ship had its own clock, its own soft morning lights, its own whispers of airflow. The crew were sleeping in cryopods for safety and health over the long journey home. Ryan had chosen to stay awake. He said it was to watch the systems. Maybe that was true. Maybe it was also because he did not want to dream. Each morning, he moved through the same routine. He checked the fuel lines. He checked the life support filters and cleaned the thin gray dust that collected on the vents. He spoke to the ship's guidance module, which answered in a calm, friendly voice that was warm but still a machine. He brewed a small cup of bitter coffee concentrate and sat by the observation window to read the latest logs. On some days, he played soft music that sounded like rain on the roof of a small house. On other days, he kept silence as his only companion. He thought often about the last mission. The ship had gone to help a colony near a bright young star. The star had started to change and pull the planets into dangerous tides. The Solace 9 brought supplies, tools, and hope. But the star changed faster than anyone guessed, and the colony had to leave in a hurry. The ship took on as many colonists as it could. It sent rescue pods to pull families from the surface. Many were saved. Some were not. Ryan did not like to count. Numbers could be heavy. He carried the memory of faces instead. A boy with a sleepy smile. A mother who kept braiding her daughter's hair. An old man who hummed a tune that sounded like a prayer. Now the ship was quiet again and steady in its path home. The crew rested. The colonists slept in the second ring of cryopods with healthy, slow heartbeats and soft fog against the glass. Ryan checked them each day. He made sure their sleep stayed safe and warm. In the evenings, he walked the gentle curve of the gravity ring. He stretched his arms. He counted his steps. He watched the stars slide past the window like snow. Sometimes he spoke aloud as if a friend walked beside him, but his words fell into the air and went nowhere. He tried to keep himself from talking too much to the empty rooms. He reminded himself that the quiet was not an enemy. It was only quiet. He kept a small journal. In it, he drew simple pictures with a thin pen. A coffee cup. A boot print on the floor. A clamp. A star map with a dot where he guessed Earth would be in 3 weeks. He did not write long feelings. He wrote short lines like filters good today. Saw a cool nebula. Like a red leaf. And sometimes I miss the sound of laughter. On one page, without thinking, he wrote 7 words in a slope that looked rushed. I wish someone would just stay tonight. He stared at the sentence for a long time. He felt a little embarrassed even though no one could see it. He closed the journal and put it under the edge of his pillow. Then he told himself to drink water and rest. The lights dimmed to night mode. The hum of the ship turned softer, like it respected sleep. Ryan lay down, turned on his side, and watched the soft glow line under the door. The air smelled clean with a hint of metal and a small memory of coffee. He listened to the cooling pipes. He looked at the small clock. He closed his eyes and tried to let go. The sound came first like a sigh. Not a loud sound. Not a warning. It was the quietest breath of air moving through a seal that had not moved in a while. The ship gave a gentle tick, the way a house will click at night when the wood cools. Ryan opened his eyes. He told himself not to sit up fast. He listened again. He heard the faintest step. Not heavy. Not careful in a fearful way. Calm steps. Like a person who knows where the bed is in a dark room. He did not move. He felt his heart begin to beat a little quicker, but not in a scared way. More like the feeling before meeting a friend. The room stayed dark, but the small window let in a thin ribbon of starlight that painted a silver line across the floor, up the wall, and over the corner of the blanket. A shape stood in the doorway. It paused. Ryan could not see the face clearly, but he sensed eyes that watched him with kindness, not judgment. Then the shape moved. Quiet, soft, a smooth certainty in every step. When the figure reached the side of the bed, it did not speak. It did not bring lights. It did not ask for permission in words. It simply lifted the blanket and slid into the small space beside him, careful and close. The bed shifted. The scent changed, gentle and unfamiliar, like clean rain on warm stone or fresh air after a storm. Ryan lay very still. He felt an arm slip around him and rest easily, like the arm had always known the exact place where it should be. The hand was warm. The touch was steady. He felt a cheek rest between his shoulder blades for a moment and then moved to the pillow. He slowly turned his head. Starlight outlined a face. It was a woman's face. Not exactly human, yet not strange in a frightening way. The lines of her features were soft and balanced. Her hair seemed to gather light the way dew holds the morning. Her eyes reflected the thin star glow, and within them he saw many tiny points like a sky held inside. Her skin kept a faint shimmer like moonlight seen through a veil, but her smile was the clearest part. It was a bold smile, not loud but strong, like someone who had made a decision and felt sure it was the right one. It told him, "I am here. You are safe." She did not say a word. Ryan did not say a word. Words would have been too heavy, too clumsy. He could feel her chest rise and fall. He noticed her breathing matched his breathing. Slowly, gently, without effort. The room that had been only a room became a place. The bed that had been only a bed became a small harbor. He was not alone in the soft dark anymore. Time changed shape. Minutes felt wider. He thought of the journal page, and a strange ache ran through his heart. But the ache was also sweet, like a hurt that heals. He felt the press of her hand. He felt his shoulders lower and his jaw loosen, small signs that his body finally believed he could rest. He did not dare reach for a switch. He did not want to break the moment with light. He did not want to test if this was a dream. Dreams can fly away when they find out you are watching. Instead, he listened to the little sounds that two people make when they share the same quiet a breath. A tiny shift, the whisper of fabric. He let his mind drift towards sleep, but not fall. He stayed near the edge like a swimmer who keeps a hand on the pier. In that tender edge, he felt a vibration very faint, like someone speaking from the other side of a door. It was not a sound in his ears. It was a feeling under his ribs. A message not in words but in warmth. "I heard you." He almost whispered "thank you," but his throat did not move. He simply nodded a tiny nod. The bold smile grew softer, and her eyes closed. Her head rested on the pillow beside his. The space between them disappeared. The stars sailed by. He must have slept. He woke with a start. Not frightened, just surprised that time had moved without asking him. The softness beside him was still there. He wondered if the ship would object or call an alert, but the ship stayed quiet, almost as if it too did not want to disturb this peace. He listened. The breathing beside him changed in rhythm, then matched his again. He felt calm like a lake at dawn. He drifted a second time. When he woke for the second time, the starlight line had moved across the wall. The small clock showed a new hour. The warmth beside him was fading. He turned his head. The pillow held a shallow shape, as if someone had just lifted away. The blanket kept a small valley where a body had been. The faint scent of clean rain still lingered and then thinned like mist. "Wait," he said softly, but only to the room. The doorway was empty. The gentle line of light under the door did not change. No footsteps. No sigh of air. Only the familiar hum of the ship returned, steady and mild, like an old friend who knows how to be silent with you. He sat up slowly and touched the edge of the pillow, then his own wrist, as if he could catch the last echo of a heartbeat that was not his. He stood, put on a light jacket, and crossed the room. He opened the door. The corridor outside looked normal, with soft lights and neat shadows. He checked the small alcove where the emergency blankets were stored. He checked the tiny table where he often left a cup. Nothing had moved. "Guidance," he said to the ship, in a low voice. "Did anyone enter my cabin?" "No unauthorized entries recorded," the ship answered gently. "Are you well, Captain?" "Yes," he said. "I think so." He paused. "Can you scan for life signatures in nearby compartments?" "Scanning," the ship replied. Ryan waited in the doorway. He felt a part of himself become practical again. He was captain. He was caretaker for sleeping people. If someone new had boarded, he should know. If a system had changed, he should find out. "Captain," the ship said, "a faint life signature is present." "Where?" he asked. His voice stayed calm, but it trembled in his chest like a leaf in a small wind. "In the engine core," the ship answered. "Signature is unusual. It matches some human markers. It also contains energy patterns outside typical ranges. Intensity is low, but steady. Location is stable." He rubbed his temple with the back of his knuckle. "Any risk?" he asked. "No immediate risk detected," the ship said. "Power systems are within safe parameters. Temperature stable. Output efficiency slightly improved by 1.7% since the last cycle." Captain Ryan Hale could not explain it, but the ship seemed live. The soft hum that once sounded mechanical now carried a rhythm, like slow breathing. The air smelled fresher. The lights adjusted more gently. Even the automatic doors seemed to open at the exact second he reached them, not a moment too soon. Not a moment too late. He didn't tell anyone, of course. The rest of the crew were still in cryo-sleep. He didn't want to wake them over something that might only exist in his tired imagination. But deep inside, Ryan knew something had changed after that night. That strange, beautiful visitor, whoever she was, had left something behind. The silent signature Anne spent long hours studying the engine readings. The life signature inside the ship's power core remained steady. It pulsed every few seconds, faint but consistent, like a heartbeat. The ship's AI, which he simply called guidance, confirmed it over and over. Signature remains stable. Output efficiency continues to improve. Every report said the same thing. Nothing dangerous, nothing failing. But Ryan could not shake the feeling that the ship had a new presence. He would often stand by the glass wall that looked into the engine chamber. The glowing column of energy shone with a faint blue-white light. Normally, its rhythm was steady. But now, there was a pulse, a gentle wave that rippled through the energy field every few seconds. He placed his hand on the cold glass. The pulse almost matched his own heartbeat. He whispered, "Is that you?" No answer came, but the light flickered once, softly like a blink. Ryan smiled faintly. "You can hear me, can't you?" Still nothing, but somehow he knew she could. The memory in the dark that night, Ryan dreamed again. He was back in his cabin. The stars drifted beyond the window, endless and silent. Then, from the darkness, she appeared once more. She moved as if part of the light, quiet and graceful. The same faint shimmer followed her, like a halo of mist. When she smiled, it was both kind and knowing. "Why did you come to me?" Ryan asked. Her voice was like wind through leaves, gentle, low, full of warmth. "I came because you called," she said. "I didn't call anyone." She tilted her head slightly, her gaze soft. "Your heart did. You wished for someone to stay. I heard it." Ryan looked at her, unsure what to believe. "Who are you?" Her answer was simple, almost sad. "A memory. A light that once had form." He frowned. "You're human." "Not exactly. But I remember being close to your kind." She looked away as if trying to find words. "My people were born from the same stars as yours. We walked the edges of the galaxy long before your worlds had names. We learned to live as energy, free from bodies, but bound by memory." Ryan's voice softened. "Then why come here?" Her eyes met his again. "Because we forgot something important. We forgot how it feels to be warm. You reminded me of it." He tried to step closer, but she raised a hand. Her form flickered like light through water. "I cannot stay long," she said. "Your ship gives me shape, but it also weakens your systems. I am trying to balance it." Ryan shook his head. "No, you're helping the ship. Everything's running better." She smiled sadly. "That is because I give part of myself to it. When I fade, it will return to what it was. You must not be afraid when that happens." Before he could reply, her form began to fade. Her voice came softer now, like a whisper in the dark. "Do not search for me in fear, Ryan Hale. You will find me in the light. He reached forward, but his hands met only air. He woke alone again. The engineer's journal? Ryan started writing more in his journal. It had once been a record of maintenance checks and daily logs. Now it had become something else, a place to talk to her. He wrote, "The ship feels warm today. I think you adjusted something. Or maybe it's me." Another day he wrote, "You said you're made of light. Then maybe the stars are your family." He left the journal open by the observation window at night, as if she could read it. It was a small gesture, but it made him feel less alone. Echoes through the ship has. The days passed. Ryan began noticing small, quiet miracles in the greenhouse bay. A few of the plants that had stopped growing suddenly sprouted again. Their leaves glowed faintly under the artificial sun lamps. In the water filters, readings became perfect, not just within safety range, but ideal. Even the cryopods seemed to hum more smoothly, their energy lines balanced like never before. He asked guidance to explain. "Systems are operating at above standard efficiency," the AI replied. "The improvement source cannot be located. No malfunction detected." Ryan chuckled softly. "You mean someone's helping us? Clarify?" "Someone?" Smiled. "Never mind guidance." Second meeting, on the 7th day, as he walked toward the observation deck. Ryan felt a gentle shift in the air, like static before lightning, but peaceful. The stars outside seemed brighter. When he reached the deck, she was already there. She stood by the massive window, looking out into the deep ocean of space. The light from the stars touched her form, and for a moment she looked almost human, tall, calm, the long silver-white hair that shimmered softly. Ryan stopped in the doorway. "You came back," she turned, smiling faintly. "I never really left." He walked closer, careful not to move too quickly. "I thought maybe I imagined you." She shook her head. "You did not imagine me? But imagination is how your mind understands what I am." He looked at her with quiet wonder. "You said your people were made of light. How does that even work?" She raised her hand, and a small wave of light rippled across her palm. "We are not matter as you know it. We are memory and energy combined. We once had bodies long ago, but as our worlds died, we chose to preserve our essence." Ryan frowned. "So you're immortal?" She smiled, and her eyes reflected the stars. "No one is truly immortal, Ryan Hale. Even light fades if it has no purpose." He hesitated, then asked, "And what's your purpose now?" Her expression softened. "To remember warmth. To remind your kind that connection is the strongest energy in the universe." They stood together in silence for a while, watching a comet streak across the void. Then Ryan asked quietly, "What happens if you stay?" Her smile faded. "The ship's systems will begin to overheat. My energy isn't meant to exist inside machines for long. I'm stabilizing it for now, but it's temporary." "There must be a way," he said. "Some kind of balance." She looked at him kindly. "Maybe, but balance requires sacrifice." Ryan looked down. "You mean one of us has to fade?" She didn't answer, but the silence told him everything. The human heart over the next few days. Ryan tried to find a solution. He studied energy transfer theories, plasma resonance equations, even old Earth legends about light beings and soul energy. But nothing in science explained her existence. He began to talk to her more often, not through visions, but through the ship itself. When he spoke aloud, the lights would flicker softly as if she were listening. When he felt lonely, he'd hum a melody from home, and sometimes the ship's engines would hum along. Adjusting tones slightly to match, he started calling her Lyra. He didn't know why. Maybe because the Lyra constellation was one of the first he learned as a boy. "It felt right, Lyra," he said one night. "Why me? There are millions of people in this galaxy. Why answer my wish?" Her voice came softly through the intercom, not as sound, but as vibration. "Because you still believe in kindness, even when no one is watching." Ryan smiled, a little shy. "That's a rare reason. It's the only one that matters," she replied. "The secret in the data logs, one morning." Ryan noticed a strange file in the ship's data archives, a folder that hadn't existed before. The timestamp matched the night she first appeared. He opened it carefully. Inside were fragments of data, not words but patterns of light. Each file contained waves that resembled human speech frequencies, but slightly off, as if tuned to another dimension. He asked guidance to analyze. "Unknown format," said the AI. "The data emits low-frequency harmonics. It resembles biological memory patterns." Ryan stared at the screen. "So, it's alive." "It appears self-adjusting, Captain." He leaned closer. "Lyra," he whispered. "Is this you?" The lights in the room flickered once, then twice, slower. "Yes," her voice came faintly through the console. "A part of me lives inside your data now. I left memories here, so you would not forget." Ryan felt a lump in his throat. "You think I could forget something like you?" Her tone softened. "Memory fades faster than you think, human. Even stars forget where they began." He shook his head. "Then I'll remember for both of us." The energy surged later that week. An alarm rang through the ship. Red lights flashed across the control deck. Ryan ran to the command console. "Guidance. Report. Unexpected surge in the engine core. Power output rising beyond limit."
Ow.
Ryan's heart raced. "Can you stabilize it?" "Attempting, but the energy source is not mechanical. It is alive." Ryan froze. "Lyra." He sprinted to the engine chamber. The blue-white light had turned golden now, swirling faster, almost like a storm. Waves of energy licked the glass barrier in shimmering patterns. "Lyra, stop," he shouted. "You're overloading the system." Her voice echoed faintly, surrounding him. "The ship is nearing a gravity wave. I'm shielding you. You'll burn out." The golden light pulsed, brighter now, almost blinding. "It's all right," she said softly. "This is what I'm made for, to protect life." Ryan slammed his hand against the control panel. "There has to be another way. Trust me," she whispered. "I know the limits of my light." The ship Solace 9 drifted steadily toward Earth. The stars outside had begun to stretch into long streaks, a sign of speed and distance, and yet to Captain Ryan Hale, the galaxy had never seemed more alive. Every blink of light, every whisper of the engines, seemed to carry a memory of her. Lyra had stayed longer than he had dared hope. Her presence was no longer a secret of the night. She moved quietly through the ship as if part of it, her energy flowing along the corridors, warming the air, brightening the soft panels, keeping every system working at the perfect pace. But Ryan knew that time was limited. The closer they came to the sun, the more fragile her form became. For the first time in weeks, Ryan allowed himself to feel fear. Not for himself, not for the ship, but for her. The last morning, the morning light of the ship, soft, it's artificial yet perfect, spilled across the observation deck. Ryan arrived first, as usual, and pressed his hands against the cool glass. Below them, the curve of Earth slowly became visible, blue and green, alive and untouched by distance. "Lyra," he whispered. A shimmer of light appeared at the corner of the deck. She had taken form again, delicate and almost human in shape, but brighter than anything Ryan had ever seen. Her hair floated slightly around her face, catching the morning light. Her eyes reflected the oceans and the clouds, the endless greens and blues of a home he had not seen in months. "You came," he said softly. "I promised," she said. Her voice was gentle, low, filled with warmth. "I always keep my promises, Ryan Hale." He swallowed. "I don't want you to leave." Her smile was kind but sad. "And yet I must. The sun, it is too bright. My form cannot withstand it. I have given all I can to your ship. Now I must return to the Harmony field. My energy will blend there, and I will become memory once again." Ryan's chest tightened. "I understand, but it doesn't make it easier." Lyra reached out, a hand of light passing through his own. The warmth spread across his fingers, up his arm, and into his chest. "Humans often think endings are something to fear," she said. "But endings are doors, and each door leads to a beginning." He held her gaze. "So this is a beginning for you?" "Always," she replied. "And for you too, Ryan Hale." The farewell the ship had slowed for orbital approach. Systems hummed softly. Ryan walked with her to the observation window. The curve of Earth gleamed in the distance. The cities, the oceans, the forests, everything appeared peaceful. Waiting. I wish I could stay a little longer, Ryan whispered. Her form glimmered faintly. I can stay in memory, in light, in hope. Every time you see the stars, you will see me. Every time you hear a gentle hum in your ship, that is me with you. Now Ryan knelt slightly, as if bowing to a presence far larger than himself. Will I ever see you again? She smiled. In many ways. Not as I am now, but in everything I leave behind. I am in the pulse of the engines, in the glow of the stars, in the warmth of your own heart. For a moment, the universe was silent. Only the distant hum of the engines and the quiet stretching of space filled the air. Then she leaned forward, placing her glowing hand against his chest again. Do not be sad, Ryan Hale. Our time together has been perfect, and you have reminded me of everything that matters. Your warmth, your care, your belief in goodness. These are eternal. He felt a tear run down his cheek. I will remember always, she nodded. And that is enough. Then, as softly as a whisper, she began to fade. Her body turned to light, then smaller pulses, then a faint shimmer that spread across the observation deck like morning mist. Her last words floated to him, sleep well. Ryan Hale, I will be the warmth in your dreams. Ryan watched until there was nothing left but a faint glow in the corner. Disappearing slowly, like a star sinking below a horizon he could not see, the ship's gift Evan, though she was gone. Solace 9 felt alive in a new way. Every system worked perfectly, running at efficiency beyond its designed limits. Energy lines were stable. Engine pulses were steady. Ryan realized that her light had not just helped the ship, it had improved it. Given it life, purpose, and warmth, he walked through the corridors. Touching panels, breathing in the soft air, listening to the gentle hum of the engines. They were no longer mechanical sounds alone. They were rhythms of a presence he could feel, not see. A reminder that she had been there. She had cared. He checked the data logs and found the fragments she had left behind, patterns of energy. Faint echoes of memory, messages encoded in light waves. He studied them carefully. He did not fully understand them, but that did not matter. They were hers, a gift she had chosen to leave. Ryan smiled. Thank you, Lyra, he whispered aloud, for everything. The ship's AI responded in its usual calm tone. Systems are stable, Captain. Efficiency remains optimal. Yes, he said, smiling faintly. Thanks to her, the return to Earth, the approach to Earth was slow, methodical. Atmospheric readings came through crisp and clean. The first blue of the oceans appeared beneath the clouds. Cities twinkled in early morning lights. Mountains and rivers shone under the soft touch of the sun. Ryan had not realized how much he had missed it, the feel of a home planet, the certainty of gravity, the air itself. He thought of Lyra again, and felt her presence in everything he saw. The light of the sun reflecting on water, the shimmer of clouds, the calm rhythm of wind moving across the forests. When the crew awoke from cryo-sleep, Ryan greeted them with energy and relief. Everyone was safe. Everyone was home. But he had a secret in his heart, a secret light he could carry with him always. He shared only hints that the ship had behaved unusually, that something or someone had improved its systems, but he never revealed the truth. It was hers, not his to tell. A star in memory weeks later, Ryan stood on a quiet hill outside the main city. The sun had set. The sky stretched endlessly above him, filled with stars that blinked and shimmered like the eyes of 1,000 unseen creatures. He closed his eyes. He felt a warmth on his chest, a pulse that matched his own heartbeat. It was faint, subtle, but unmistakable. Lyra's presence, though distant, remained. Not as matter, not as form, but as memory, as energy, as light woven into the universe itself. He opened his eyes and smiled. I see you, he whispered. Every time I look at the stars, I will see you. And for a moment, he imagined her sitting beside him, as she had in the observation deck of Solace 9, smiling boldly, holding him in quiet assurance. Whispering that all endings are beginnings, he breathed deeply and looked around the hill. Life continued, children laughing in the distance, the wind moving through trees, the quiet hum of civilization. And in all of it, Ryan felt her gift, not just in the ship, not just in the stars, but in the hearts of every person who believed, who cared, who kept warmth alive, even in the cold darkness of space. Her light was gone from form, but it remained everywhere else in memory. In energy, in hope, Ryan Hale smiled again, quietly, fully, knowing that some connections are eternal. The legacy from that day onward. Every mission he led, every crew he guided, carried a new rhythm. Ryan taught them to listen to more than just the instruments, to feel the heartbeat of the ship, to trust in the subtle energies of life. He never forgot the night she slipped into his bed. He never forgot her bold smile, her warmth, her presence that made silence meaningful. He did not speak of her often, but he wrote in journals, in personal logs, in private notes, a record of the lessons she had left. Courage, care, kindness, and the knowledge that some light, once seen, can never fade. And on quiet nights, when he walked under the stars, Ryan Hale would pause, close his eyes, and feel a soft pulse in the air, a presence that reminded him. No matter how far humans travel in space, some connections are universal. Some lights are eternal. Lyra had given him more than presence. She had given him understanding. She had given him hope. She had given him memory. Memory is a kind of immortality. The universe stretched endlessly around him, full of possibilities, full of stars. And in that vastness, Ryan knew one thing clearly. Humanity was not alone, not ever. Some of the brightest lights, like Lyra, travel in ways we cannot always see, but they touch us in ways we never forget.